Welcome again. Welcome to Delhi winters, which doesn't seem to be abating in full fury. But we shift ourselves to enzyme classification. So, good morning, namaste, adab, sat sri akal. So, we are going to see enzyme classification now. All of you know very well that enzymes are divided into 6 classes: oxidoreductase, transferase, hydrolase, etc. And a seventh class, of course, it is coming up. So we'll talk about it later on. Now, there are 6 enzymes in our list today. On the right side, you can see the classes of enzyme. On the left side, the enzymes which are in our list. So, in which class which enzyme is falling? Can you match these? Of course, you know this is not a transferase, this is not a lyase. So, कौन सी class में कौन सा enzyme है? This would be a good active mode of learning. So, you pause this video and try to first solve it yourself. Meanwhile, after you finish, start seeing the next slide. So, we come to the first enzyme of our list, pyruvate dehydrogenase. What it is doing? It is converting pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A by removal of 2 hydrogen atoms. And removal of hydrogen atom, dehydrogenation, this is oxidation. Oxidation, not only addition of oxygen, removal of hydrogen is also oxidation. So where does it fall into? It falls into the first class, oxidoreductase, the first class. Second enzyme of our list, pyruvate kinase, which is converting phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate. क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पर? The phosphate group of phosphoenol pyruvate is getting transferred to ADP. In the process, ADP is getting converted to ATP. So what is happening here? Transfer of a functional group is taking place. So this will come into the second class, that is transferase, the second class of the enzyme. So the matching has been partially completed. Pyruvate dehydrogenase and oxidoreductase, pyruvate kinase are transferase. Now the matching is due for these 4 enzymes and their respective classes. So we come to next enzyme of our list, that is phosphoglucoisomerase, converting glucose 6-phosphate to its isomer, fructose 6-phosphate. So evidently this is an isomerase. कुछ कहने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, नाम में ही इसका आइसोमेरेज है. So this comes into the category of isomerase, phosphoglucoisomerase. Another example from this glycolytic sequence, aldolase is causing cleavage of a hexose, fructose 1,6-phosphate to 2-trioses, these two. And this is a non-hydrolytic cleavage. And all of you know very well that non-hydrolytic cleavage, that is called what? Lyase. So phosphoglucoisomerase हमने देखा था. This is a isomerase, and now we have also seen that aldolase is a lyase. So this we had done earlier. Now only 2 enzymes are remaining, which we are going to see. The 5th enzyme in our list is this one, which is converting glucose 6-phosphate to glucose. The enzyme is glucose 6-phosphatase. और यहाँ पर हो क्या रहा है? There is hydrolytic cleavage, so that the phosphate group is getting released from glucose 6-phosphate. So hydrolytic cleavage for removal of a phosphate group. So such enzyme which cleave a compound with addition of water, the so-called hydrolytic cleavage, they are called what? Hydrolases. So this enzyme, glucose 6-phosphatase, falls into the 3rd class, that is hydrolase. Now only one enzyme is remaining. that is pyruvate carboxylase. This enzyme converts pyruvate to oxaloacetate, as I am going to show here. Conversion of a 3-carbon pyruvate to a 4-carbon oxaloacetate. 3 से 4 हो रहा है. So there is addition of a carbon group. Carbon group add हो रहा है. Formation of a new carbon-carbon linkage is there, and such synthetic enzymes, as you all know, they are called ligases. So that completes the whole thing. Pyruvate dehydrogenase oxidoreductase, because oxidation हो रहा है, transfer हो रहा है, तो pyruvate kinase is transferase. Formation of a new CC, carbon-carbon bond, that is ligase. Hydrolase, because hydrolytic cleavage. Non-hydrolytic cleavage by aldolase, lyase, or isomerase, this one evidently very clear. Now before I conclude, one or two seemingly minor point. What about this enzyme? Isn't it, as the name suggests, isomerase, converting one triose into its isomer, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate to dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Isomerization, so it's an isomer. What about this enzyme? This one, 3-phosphoglycerate to 2-phosphoglycerate. Students have been making mistakes, I have seen, by calling this an isomerase, but it is not. It is only transferring a phosphate group from one position to another position within the same compound. So this is an intramolecular shift of a functional group. Such enzymes which cause intramolecular shift of a intramolecular transfer of a functional group, they are mutases. Of course, they are all transferases. So transferase में जब intramolecular shift हो, then that is a mutase. And when the shift is intermolecular, for example, phosphoenol pyruvate, phosphate group is being transferred from one compound to another compound. So then it will be called a kinase. So kinases and mutases both are transferases. The difference is only between whether intermolecular or intramolecular transfer is there. And lastly, I mentioned 6 classes, but there is 7th one also coming up, that is translocase. Now inner mitochondrial membrane के जितने भी transporters हैं, they are all translocases. Now just to elaborate, pyruvate, it has to enter the mitochondria, crossing the inner mitochondrial membrane, and there pyruvate will be converted to acetyl coenzyme A, as you all know. And it crossing कैसे होती है? Through the semi-impermeable inner mitochondrial membrane with the help of translocases, which fall into the 7th class. So before I conclude, the last thing, as you go across the other metabolic pathways, तो आप enzymes को देखिए and try to classify in which class the enzyme falls. For example, succinate dehydrogenase, isocitrate dehydrogenase, they are all oxidoreductases, etc., etc. So thanks a lot. Thanks for watching.